I think and I want to clarify, I think there is absolutely nothing wrong with doing construction work, of course.
You're gonna get all this hate mail from me.
Yeah,
What do you mean? I
exactly.
like it.
But I think construction work, let's just take that for as an example. I think that is one of those jobs that people default to
Mhm.
when they don't choose to follow their passion. It's complete speculation, of course. But what I'm trying to get at is if everybody followed their passion, do you think a lot of the essential work that we need in this world, like construction work, for example,
Taking out the garbage. I mean, something that's even worse. Construction is really creative and interesting, right? But something like taking out the garbage, or and I'm telling you, it is because what happens is the market forces at a certain point. We're like, there's garbage piling up. We need people to do this. The money will then come up for it. I will pay more money because I'm getting more garbage. So
hmm,
I think that the that aspect of capitalism, and I think Europe's approach to capitalism and sort of socialist democrat. I think you guys have the balance better than America for sure. But there are truths that happen with markets emerge from human desires. And so like if a community needs the garbage taken care of, there it will get taken care of. Nobody needs to be forced to do it.
hmm,
Market forces will emerge and basically the price will go up. And at a certain point, somebody's like, you know what? For that much money, I could get into, I could get into taking out the garbage.
hmm,
I mean, there was that one TV show called like Dirty Jobs. I don't know if you ever seen it, but it was like the nastiest, craziest cleanup jobs or whatever. And again, you have to understand it's like the Zen thing. It's everything we're doing is chopping wood, carrying water. It doesn't effing matter. What matters is we are a soul and we're showing up and we're doing something. And the way that we do it is what brings our which it fills out our experience of being alive. And the way we do it for somebody else and help them fill out their experience of doing alive. So the monks in some place would literally sit on a cushion all day long and just breathe and in a very very super subtle way sort of experience life that way. And then when they needed to get stuff done, they would chop wood, they would carry water, but they would do it in a way that just filled out their experience of being alive.
hmm.
And so when you take that same principle and you put it into like modern society, whether you're telling stories or you're working at the supermarket or you're teaching people, whatever you're doing, um, it's the way that you do it that really matters. And so the way that traditional education structures the existence for the people is what's profoundly, I feel like, lopsiding society, to the point where you get results like I did on Twitter, where you get only 10% really making a living from their passion. And I don't think it could be 100%, but I think it could be 80%.
Mm.
If these schools that I've seen that the success I've seen in schools were more widely spread, and I think it's probably going to happen. I don't know, 100 years, 50 years at some point. It's weird to me that it hasn't caught on right away because it seems so obvious to me. But most people don't see it the way I am, so I know I'm an
Mm.
outlier. But my feeling is, I think human beings, the capacity of them, you probably have well over 50% could easily be living in basically a flow state most of their day, being really serving and they just and the things that other people. That's how one thing with this, people say, you're like, well, what about the things that people don't want to do? But like, if you think, it reminds me of how people think about movies, right? I hate that movie, I love that movie. It's subjective.
Mm.
You and I might
Of
agree on a lot of
course.
stuff, right? So what one job that somebody's like, oh my god, that's the worst job ever, there's another somebody's like, that's my dream
Of
job.
course, yeah.
So yeah, so like there's so many people and there's so many efficiencies if we get out of the way and let people develop the way. We all start in flow state. Infants are flow state, toddlers are in a state of flow and openness, and then it gets crammed out of them when we say, do this, jump through this hoop,
Hmm.
blah 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 blah. And then you get them out of the present moment, and you fundamentally mess up their experience of being alive, and it's terrible. And then they just what happens is you undervalue who you are and your
Yeah.
real gifts, because they were said, look, your what your passions are don't matter. But the truth is, that's actually what matters most.
Mm.
So it's an absolute terrible, terrible system to my mind.